Hello, and welcome to another episode of Momentum. I'm your host, Philip Allison. Our guest today is Asishana Amunega-Ajayi, a senior majoring in aerospace engineering. Asishana, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we'll just jump right into it. You are an international student from Nigeria, and you are from, I believe, Abuja, which is the capital city in Nigeria, which is like 6 million people, which is quite a bit larger than the state of Mississippi. What was your first experience like when you came to the States?
I initially went from Nigeria to France, then from France to Atlanta. I think Hartsfield Jackson is the airport there. So I was kind of like, okay, yeah, this is what I expected America to look like and stuff, and the movies and all of that. Then from Atlanta, I took a flight to GTR, which is like the airport in Starkville in Columbus. And when I got on the plane, it was it was very, very small. So I'm a pretty tall person, and my head was kind of like touching the roof of the plane and stuff. So I was kind of iffy about it at first. But I finally made it here and stuff. The International Institute actually sent someone to pick me and my mom up because the first time I came here with my mom, and I fell asleep in the car, and I woke up like mid journey and stuff, and all I could see were just like cows and grass, and I was like, I don't know about this. All up until I got to the actual university, then like more people and stuff like that, and the buildings were like larger, so it's kind of like okay.
Yeah. So, but again, going from city of 6 million to Starkville, which is 25,000, I'm sure the culture shock was a little bit to adjust to at first.
Yeah, it definitely was. The culture is a bit different. The food is definitely different. You all have fried okra here. We don't do that in Nigeria. We cook like a soup and stuff. But it took a lot of getting used to and getting acclimated to.
Yeah. And I guess what are some of the other kind of differences? Have you found that the people have been welcoming since you've been here?
Yeah, there is like the whole Southern hospitality and stuff, which I sincerely appreciate and I'm grateful for. But also I've realized that there's not a lot of people that know about African culture and stuff. They make a lot of conclusions or jump to a lot of conclusions based on what they see, for $1 a day advert and all of that stuff. That's not necessarily how Africa is. And I noticed that a lot of people tend to say Africa rather than the country in Africa. So take for instance, some people say I'm going to London or something, or they'll relate that the same way as saying I'm going to Africa. It's not the same. So Africa is a continent, while Nigeria is a country in Africa. So just the knowledge that people have on African culture and stuff is a bit skewed, and I feel like it's due to the representation on TV and stuff. I keep telling people that the same way you all have urban places here, same thing in African countries. Same place, same way you guys have rural areas here, same way we do in African countries.
Yeah. You mentioned the food. Have you kind of learned about American food, and is there something that's really just kind of jumped out at you a little bit since you've been here?
So yeah, I really like soul food, and if you really know me, my favorite restaurant here is Popeyes. The way we fry our own chicken in Nigeria and stuff is really different. I think you guys use breadcrumbs and stuff like that, but we don't really, and the season and stuff. So at first it got a lot of it took a lot of getting used to really learn to appreciate the food and stuff like that here. But right now I think I've got it there.
Yeah. Well, I can't blame you for liking Popeyes. It's pretty good. I guess coming over as an international student, and this is kind of a broad question, but what are some of the challenges that you faced?
So when I first got here, my accent was a lot more thicker and stuff. But now after being here for a while, I've learned to slow down the pace I talk so more Americans can understand me. So that was a challenge at first, especially like when you're calling, like calling a call center or something over the phone. It was very difficult for them to understand me, and I used to get like frustrated and stuff. So that was a big difference. The Another thing I can say is the food. We've talked about the food, the culture as well. So in my culture, shaking people older than you with your left hand is seen as disrespectful. There's something called dabale, so we prostrate to greet our parents and stuff like that, or just like kneel or something like that, which is kind of, it's a lot different here. We don't necessarily call people older than us by their first name and stuff. Rather like Uncle this or Mr. Doctor or something like that. But yeah, it's a bit they're a bit more lenient about stuff like that. So take, for instance, like shaking someone with your left hand. It's not something that most people would think about, but in my culture, it's seen as disrespectful and stuff. So just like learning that I am no longer in Nigeria and learning American culture and the way things are done here was took a lot of getting used to.
Yeah. Well, when you talk to people around Starkville and on campus about the differences between American and Nigerian culture, have people generally been receptive to kind of what you've told them, especially if they don't know much about Nigeria?
It depends on the person. You can tell when someone is genuinely inquisitive, like they really want to know about your culture, and you can tell when someone's being ignorant and disrespectful. So I've met both sets of people, or both kinds of people. I've met people who really want to like understand the African culture and stuff, and I've met people who think it's funny and stuff. So generally, I've figured out after like years of being here that it's better to educate than to hate. So if I'm genuinely explaining my culture to you, most of the time they're receptive. And then again, I'm 6'5" and very intimidating, so it's kind of hard not to be receptive.
Yeah, I would imagine that would help a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about your decision to come to Mississippi State and specifically to study aerospace engineering. Is that something that you kind of always wanted to study?
So I have a few reasons for doing aerospace engineering. I'll just go down and like list all of them. So when I was younger, I had a group of friends and we wanted like, oh, do aeronautical engineering. But none of them really like stuck with it. And I'm a very like headstrong or stubborn person. So I stuck with it and decided that this is what I wanted to do. I've always wanted to like join the Air Forces and stuff. So my parents also thought it was a good idea to like learn about the airplanes I would want to fly and stuff if I do join the Air Force. And my last reason was I had a cousin. He was part of the Nigerian army, and he was sent to Sambisa Forest, which is I don't know if you know much about Boko Haram and stuff, but they're like a subsect of ISIS, and they were like terrorizing Nigeria for a while and stuff. So he got sent to Sambisa Forest, and he got killed. And I felt like if the army had used like UAV technology or sent like an MQ-9 Reaper or MQ-1 Predator or something, they wouldn't have needed to send like infantry soldiers into their stronghold.
Yeah. Is that kind of what you want to kind of work with is unmanned vehicles, or do you have kind of some other interest within aerospace?
Yeah, so my senior seminar currently is UAVs as a defensive technology. So I'm focusing more on like unmanned air vehicles and systems and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, in addition to your classwork and your transition to school here in the States, I guess, have you been involved with any student groups, and has that helped your transition at all?
Yes, I've been involved with a lot of student groups, to be honest. And I would advise every student and like international student to get involved because one, it doesn't just help your like resume or your skills and stuff. You also get to like meet a bunch of like cool people from different like backgrounds and stuff. So starting off, I became a resident advisor. Then I've been working with housing for a couple of years now. So I've been a senior resident advisor, and I've been a conference assistant, and I'm currently a community assistant. I one of the first student organizations I was also part of was the National Society of Black Engineers. That really helped me in like the engineering field because you don't necessarily see a lot of minorities in engineer, especially aerospace engineer. I think in my class now, like my graduating class, there are four black students that I know of, and I don't think there are any female minority students in my class. So seeing other people that look like you in the same major tends to like motivate you. Like, okay, if he can do it and he kind of looks like me, I can do it too. So National Center of Black Engineering really helped me. So short form is I was also a part of Involvement Ambassador. I joined ISAB, International Student Advisory Board. I was the vice president of the African Student Association at some point. We also hosted African Night. So we did a program that like basically exposed people to our culture. And I believe we are going to do another one recently on the 30th or 31st, sometime next week, if I'm not mistaken. I can get the actual date later on, but I was a part of that. I'm still currently a part of the African Student Association. I pledged a fraternity. I became the president of Ambassadors of the Theta Delta Delta chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. I am currently the second vice state rep for the fraternity. So basically, I am over the undergraduate chapters in Mississippi. And those are some of the involvements I can think of, like off the top of my head currently.
Yeah, that sounds quite a lot. And I would assume it has helped kind of ease your transition to school and to life in the States. Let's talk a little bit beyond school. I understand that you went skydiving recently. How was that?
Yeah. Okay, it's scary. I'm not even gonna lie. I went. I think it was in Coleman, Alabama. The people are instructors and stuff are very cool people, down to earth. So I just wanted to like do something. I've always wanted to like go skydiving and stuff, and I'm fascinated with like airplanes and stuff like that. So why not jump? So I went skydiving, and I think it was from 14,000 feet. The scariest parts were so they give you like a whole spiel of why you shouldn't be doing it. You like literally watch a video telling you not to do it. Then down there, they like give you a whole pep talk saying, in the airplane, no sounds like go. So if you say no, 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 it sounds like go, go, go. And you pretty much once you're there, you're there. So like you gotta jump. So
that sounds great. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time, and it has been great to have you on the show, Asishana. Thank you so much for joining us. Remember, you can keep up with all the news from the Bagley College of Engineering at bagley.msstate.edu. Thanks for watching.